Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app and there you can get the current affairs in quiz format and in digest format. And this is how you can attempt the quiz. For regular updates, please join our Telegram channel and this is the name of Telegram channel GKToday YouTube. So now let's start the quiz.
The central government has announced a scheme to completely solarize which famous temple? So recently, it was announced that there will be a scheme for complete solarization of Konark Sun Temple in Odisha. And for this purpose, MNRE, that is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, will provide the financial support. And this project will be implemented by OREDA. What is the name of social security scheme for senior citizens that has been extended for 3 more years? So the name of the scheme is Pradhan Mantri Vay Vandana Yojana. The emergency credit line guarantee scheme, which was in news, is associated to which sector? So it is associated to MSME sector. And recently this was in news because Union Cabinet has approved an additional funding of rupee up to 3 lakhs crore through this emergency credit line guarantee scheme for MSME sector. The mandatory norms for accepting payments by electronic mode has been exempted for which type of companies? So previously, the Finance Ministry had inserted Section 269 SU in Finance Act to encourage the digital transactions in country, and this section made it mandatory that business over a turnover of 50 crores should accept payments through e-payment mode. Now, the problem is that this e-payment methods have certain limitations. That means they have maximum limit, and therefore now for B2B, what is B2B? It means business to business transactions. Which Indian state has partnered with SIDBI and launched a startup fund for providing employment to the migrant workers? So recently, Uttar Pradesh government has partnered with SIDBI for Uttar Pradesh Startup Fund. What is SIDBI? It is Small Industries Development Bank of India. So with the help of this fund, the youth will be encouraged to form startups. India recently signed an addendum with which company to operationalize 5 new ports of coal to enhance the trade and connectivity. So for this purpose, India signed an addendum to the Protocol on Inland Water Transit with the Shipping Ministry of Bangladesh. So this addendum was signed with the Shipping Ministry of Bangladesh. The capital of Bangladesh is Dhaka, currency is Taka. Salman Reinhardt, who was in news recently, is the new chief economist and vice president of which global institution? So she is the new chief economist and vice president of World Bank. Now, apart from her, few other appointments were in news recently. Dilip Oman became the new president of ISA, that is Indian Steel Association. Google, along with which technology company, has released their collaborative application programming interface, that is API, for contact tracing. So for this purpose, Google and Apple have made a application programming API. So for this purpose, Google and Apple have made the application programming interface, that is API, for contact tracing. Which technology company has recently won the prestigious cloud project with the US Department of Defense? So recently, Google has won this prestigious project of cloud computing with the US Department of Defense. And this project is about building secure cloud management solution to detect the cyber threats. As per the recent data of RBI, which type of banks made highest credit disbursement for the last 3 years? As per RBI report, the private banks made the highest credit expansion and their shares in the total credit expanded from 30% in 2017 to 35.7% in 2019. So you can see that there is a good growth in case of private sector in credit disbursement. The death anniversary of which former Indian Prime Minister is observed as Anti-Terrorism Day. So 21st of May is the death anniversary of Indian Prime Minister Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, and his death anniversary is observed as Anti-Terrorism Day, as on this day in 1991 he was assassinated during an election campaign. Ariz Aduriz, who recently announced his retirement, is associated with sports. So he is associated to football, and recently he announced his retirement. Which famous platform has introduced a feature called bedtime reminder as a part of its wellness and screen time tools? So this was announced by YouTube. Why this was announced? Because this will enable the user to cut down the screen time without compromising the sleep. Safe harbor rules, which were in news recently, are associated to which union ministry? So safe harbor rules are associated to Ministry of Finance, and these rules are related to transfer pricing. Now your homework is to study about transfer pricing and what is arm's length principle in this context. The University Grants Commission, that is UGC, has directed universities to use the online courses of which portal for transferring credits. So UGC directed universities to use the SWAM portal of MHRD to transfer the credits. Who will fix the domestic airfares of India for 3 months when domestic flights resume after lockdown? So Civil Aviation Ministry is going to fix the prices for 3 months after resumption of the flights. So the ministry will fix the upper and lower limit. Which country recently announced its decision to withdraw from Open Skies Treaty? So it was recently announced by USA that it is going to withdraw from this Open Skies Treaty, and this is a 35 countries treaty that allow unarmed surveillance flights over the territories of other member countries. On which day the World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development is celebrated every year? So it is celebrated on 21st of May, and UNESCO is working to promote the culture as a part of its Share Our Heritage campaign. The headquarters of UNESCO is in France, in Paris, and France is the host of 2024 Summer Olympic Games. Which year has marked the first official observance of International Tea Day? So for the first time it was celebrated in 2020, and the theme was harnessing benefits for all from field to cup. Shamla Ji Bhave, who passed away recently, was associated with which field? So she was associated to music, and she was well known for her command over both Hindustani and Carnatic music. GFR has been in news for amendments related to procurement of government. What is GFR? So it is General Financial Rules, and as per the recent rules, the goods and services valued less than 200 crores will be procured from domestic firms. So this will give a boost to MSME sector. As per the recent announcement of RBI, what is the updated repo rate? So recently RBI announced few changes, and as per this, repo rate is 4%. It has been reduced from 4.40. Which country is the leading manufacturer of PPE body coveralls? PPE stands for Personal Protective Equipment. So China is the world's largest manufacturer, while India is on second position. Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, that is ONGC, partnered with which public sector enterprise to set up a joint venture company for renewable energy business? So ONGC and NTPC have announced their partnership for this renewable energy business. Rayalaseema Lift Irrigation Scheme, which was in news recently, was proposed to be implemented in which state? So it is related to Andhra Pradesh, and recently it was in news because of an NGT order which stayed this particular project. So this was in news because of an NGT order which stayed this particular project. What is NGT? It is National Green Tribunal. What is the name of internship program launched by Environment Minister associated with biodiversity. So the name of this program is Biodiversity Sanrakshan Internship Program, and for this purpose NBA, that is National Biodiversity Authority, and UNDP India collaborated. It is Biodiversity Conservation Program, and it is 1-year internship program for postgraduate. The Sequoia National Park, which was seen in news recently, is associated to which state? So it is associated to Assam, and recently it was in news because of the oil exploration permissions to Oil India Limited. Now, due to several environmental issues, Oil India Limited is not going to enter into this national park. However, it is going to use ERD technology for the exploration. What is the theme of International Day for Biological Diversity? So every year on 22nd of May, this International Day for Biological Diversity is celebrated, and the theme was Our Solutions Are in Nature. Which Indian state is set to launch Everybody Will Get Employment scheme? So this has been announced by Madhya Pradesh, and the objective of this scheme is to provide Manrega cards to the laborers of state. Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has integrated with IMD services on which application? So recently, IMD weather forecasting services were integrated on the Umang app, and this is an app by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. SDR, that is Special Drawing Rights, is associated with which international institution? So SDR are related to IMF, that is International Monetary Fund. So SDR was created by IMF in 1969 as a supplementary international reserve asset. The RBI has extended the Rupee 15,000 crores refinance facility that was granted earlier to which All India Financial Institution. So it was for SIDBI. What is SIDBI? It is Small Industries Development Bank of India. RBI also announced the extension of a line of credit of Rupee 15,000 crores for Exim Bank. Private equity major KKR has bought 2.32% stakes in Jio platforms. Now the question is, this company is based in which country? So it is from USA, and recently it was in news because of investment in Jio platforms. Which Indian state or union territory launched a revival package for MSME sector called Restart? So it was started by Andhra Pradesh to revive the economy. Now MSME stands for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. Now this restart is related to revival of MSME in Andhra Pradesh. Now there was one more restart which was in news, and it was rebooting the economy through science, technology and research translations. What is the theme of Hunar Haat initiative that was proposed to be launched after lockdown? So the theme of this Hunar Haat initiative is local to global. This Hunar Haat is an initiative of Ministry of Minority Affairs, and this initiative organizes a skill fair that aims to generate employment for the craft persons. As per the Forbes magazine, who is the highest paid female athlete of the world as of May 2020? So she is Naomi Osaka, and she became the highest paid female athlete of the world. She is from Japan and she is related to tennis. Microcomb, which was in news recently, is associated with which field? So it is related to internet and communication. And recently it was in news because the scientist in Australia recorded world's fastest internet data speed, and it was of 44.2 Tbps. On which day the World Turtle Day is celebrated across the world? So it is celebrated on 23rd of May, and a non-profit organization named ATR, that is American Tortoise Rescue, organized the celebration event for this World Turtle Day. As per the recent statement of Bombay High Court, which right is the part of right to life? So Bombay High Court recently noted that right to a decent burial is a part of right to life. Now this was in news because of various controversies related to the burials of patients who died due to COVID-19. Samsung India partnered with which major technological company to train offline retailers about digital technologies? So for this purpose, Samsung partnered with Facebook and they are going to train the offline retailers so that these offline retailers can start their business online. Now, Samsung is a company of South Korea. The headquarters of Samsung is in Seoul in South Korea. Which state has recently granted industry status to the sports? So it was granted by Mizoram and it became the first state to do so. Now, what will be the benefit due to this decision? Once a sector is granted industry status, it will attract more investment and therefore it will help in the development of that particular sector. So in this case, it will help in the development of sports infrastructure in the state of Mizoram. Ashley Cooper, a veteran sports personality who passed away recently, was associated with which sports? So he was from Australia and he was associated to tennis. He passed away recently. Apart from him, recently Mohit Baghel passed away. He was associated to acting and he was a Bollywood actor. Khudol, which was in the United Nations Top 10 Global Initiative to fight against COVID-19, is implemented in which state of India? So it is implemented in Manipur. As per the status paper on government debt, what is the amount of central government debt as percentage of GDP? So recently Union government published this 9th edition of status paper on government debt, and as per this edition, central government debt stood at 45.7% of GDP at 2018-19. Chamba Tunnel, which was in news, was inaugurated in which state or union territory? So this tunnel is related to Uttarakhand as it was inaugurated recently by Minister of Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari through video conferencing. CSIR IIIM, that is Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine, partnered with which company to develop new RT-LAMP based COVID-19 diagnostic kit? So for this purpose, CSIR IIIM has partnered with Reliance Industries. What is RT-LAMP? RT-LAMP stands for Reverse Transcriptase Loop Mediated Isothermal Amplification. Which Indian state or union territory is set to declare lakh farming as an agricultural activity? So Chhattisgarh is going to declare lakh farming as an agricultural activity. What is lakh? Lakh is the sticky secretion of several species of lakh insects. Which Indian American has won the Inventor of the Year award from the NYIPLA, that is New York Intellectual Property Law Association? So Rajiv Joshi has won this award and he is an Indo-American and he is associated with IBM. He won this award from New York Intellectual Property Law Association. What is Pontius sanctus, which was recently in news? So it is a fish and it is a new silverfish species that has been discovered recently and it is a freshwater fish. Which state is set to launch virtual queue management application for liquor? And the name of this application is BevQ. So it is launched by Kerala and it has been developed by Kochi based startup Fair Code Technologies. So this is going to help in the virtual management of queue for liquor. Who is the author of book The Ichabod, which was in news recently? So she is J.K. Rowling. She is Harry Potter fame author and recently she unveiled her story online. The title of the story is The Ichabod and it is the first children's story by the author which is not linked to Harry Potter. Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley, who were in news recently, are associated with which field? So these two are related to space mission and recently they were in news because the first manned space flight of SpaceX for NASA took off for ISS. What is ISS? It is International Space Station. Which rating agency, through its Global Economic Outlook report, estimated India's growth at -5%. So this is related to Fitch Ratings, and recently it released Global Economic Outlook. As per that, the biggest estimate cut was for India. Which ride-sharing company's subsidiary has acquired Netherlands-based manufacturer Atago BV? So Ola Electric, a subsidiary of Ola, has acquired the Netherlands-based Atago BV. Catch-up application, which was in news recently, has been launched by which major company? So it has been launched by Facebook, and this is a free phone call making application, and it has been launched in USA as a pilot service. What is pilot? It means it has been launched on a trial basis. What is the target year to achieve 220 lakh metric tons of fish production as per Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana? So the target year is 2024-25, and recently the Minister for Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Power Finance Corporation, partnered with Narmada Basin Projects Company Limited to fund power projects in which state of India? So recently PFC has partnered with NBPCL to fund the power projects in Madhya Pradesh. This PFC is a PSU and it is under Ministry of Power. Which international toy brand has collaborated with Niti Aayog and Save the Children to support the children impacted by the COVID-19? So Lego Group has partnered with Niti Aayog and Save the Children to support the kids impacted by this COVID-19, and under this partnership, Lego will promote learning through play. Which country announced a bug bounty program to incentivize those who identify the flaws in its COVID-19 contact tracing app? So this has been announced by India, and this has been announced in the context of Arogya Setu app. Who has been appointed as the new president of New Development Bank? So recently, Marcos Trojo has been appointed as the new president of New Development Bank. Now he is from Brazil. The New Development Bank is BRICS Bank. BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. And the headquarters of New Development Bank is in Shanghai in China. Now apart from him, recently Leo Puri has been appointed as the new chairperson of JP Morgan for South and Southeast Asia. Twitter recently linked the tweet of which countries head to fact-checking page. So recently, Twitter linked the tweet of Donald Trump, that is the President of United States, with a fact-checking page. However, the Twitter clarified that this decision or this particular action was taken to provide the context to the tweet of President. On the other hand, US President alleged that the Twitter is interfering in the 2020 presidential elections. And in this context, one section was in use, and it is Section 230 of Communications Decency Act. Which country's survey team recently became the first to reach the peak of Everest this year? So Mount Everest is the highest peak in this entire world, and the survey team of China became the first to reach the peak of Mount Everest this year. And this is a part of a project to remeasure the exact height of Mount Everest. Now, it is important to note that every year, International Everest Day is observed on 29th of May, and it is special because the Tenzing Norgay from Nepal and Edmund Hillary from New Zealand had climbed Mount Everest on this particular day, that means on 29th of May in 1953. Which country has commenced the development of its first stealth bomber named Pak-Da? So it is Russia. What is the full form of this Pak-Da? It stands for Perspective Aviation Complex for Long Range Aviation. As per the recent study by Deloitte, which country is placed at the top spot in Global Anxiety Index? So India is on the top of this global anxiety index, and this has been conducted by Deloitte. Name of the index is Global Anxiety Index. On which day this World Hunger Day is observed every year. So it is observed on 28th of May. And the objective of this day is to spread awareness about the acute hunger and the ways how we can solve the problem of hunger and poverty. Now, in the context of hunger, there is a Global Hunger Index. Now, answer in comment box what is India's rank as per this index and which organization published this Global Hunger Index. Which organization has launched an artificial intelligence based chatbot named Pi? So, it has been launched by NPCI, that is National Payment Corporation of India. And this is artificial intelligence based chatbot, and it has been launched to spread awareness about the various products related to NPCI. Which day is celebrated on 28th of May by the Women's Global Network for Reproductive Rights. So, it is International Day of Action for Women's Health, and it is celebrated by Women's Global Network for Reproductive Rights. Who is the head of 11-member Annual Grant and Affiliation Committee constituted by Indian Olympic Association? So, Indian Olympic Association constituted this committee to review and to monitor the annual grant and affiliation fees of its member. Asian Development Bank recently signed a $177 million loan agreement with India to upgrade road connectivity in which state? So, this has been launched for Maharashtra to boost the road connectivity. What is the new name of Central Institute of Plastics Engineering and Technology, that is CIPET? So now it has been renamed and the new name is Central Institute of Petrochemicals Engineering and Technology, and it is a national institution under Ministry of Chemical and Fertilizers, and it is located in Chennai. On which day the World Vape Day was celebrated? So it was celebrated on 30th of May. It is celebrated to spread awareness about vaping and to spread awareness about the harmful effects of e-cigarettes. Which international association has proposed €750 billion COVID-19 recovery fund? So it has been proposed by European Union Commission, and this has been proposed to revive the economy. Which e-commerce platform has partnered with Karnataka Mango Board to sell fresh produce of fruits online? So this is a tri-party agreement. One party is farmer, and on the behalf of farmers, Karnataka Mango Board partnered. Another party is Flipkart, and third party is India Post. So Flipkart will provide a platform for the online sale of these fruits. Farmers will provide those fruits, and India Post will deliver those fruits. So recently this has been done. Which Indian state has proposed to launch a first of its kind state health register project? So this has been proposed by Karnataka to launch first of its kind state health register. So it is going to maintain the health database of people of Karnataka. Now Karnataka was also in news because of Hack Initiative, and recently Karnataka's Center of Excellence in Cyber Security launched this first cyber security accelerator for startups. Mustaba Hussain, who passed away recently, was associated to which field? So he was associated to literature, and he was associated to Urdu literature. He passed away recently. Apart from him, recently Bejan Daruwala passed away. He was well-known astrologer.